Welcome back to GBGuns Armory, the series where I'm going back through stuff that's already been reviewed, been out for a little while, and giving a little more thoughts, feels, reflections, since the performance and raw facts and everything were already covered in the original review. This is also your chance to pipe in with your thoughts, feelings, reflections, and experiences because the stuff's been out for a while. Today, talking about the Beretta APX A1 Compact. This is one that was reviewed rather recently on the main channel. We were a little behind the times in getting our hands on one. I just wasn't, for some reason, it didn't call to me, even though it had been requested so many times. And it got to the point where you guys had requested it so many times that I had to approach Beretta and say, hey, 400 handguns reviewed on the channel, not a single Beretta. I think it's time. Had a lot of requests for the APX A1. Came to find out that a lot of the requests were because there was a heck of a rebate going on these things. Beautiful finish on them. Like, just gorgeous. Very, very well made gun. But with the rebate, it was super affordable. And so, of course, folks were wondering, is it worth it? Is it Beretta quality, or is it Beretta's cheap gun? Part of what had me kind of having mixed feelings was it's sort of a compact, sort of a subcompact. You've got a 3.5-inch barrel instead of a 4-inch barrel, but 15 round double stack capacity, interchangeable back straps, it's optics ready, fiber optic front sight, and a trigger that is surprisingly good. Very predictable, appropriate weight for carry. Everything about it seemed all right. Both Ms. T and I were quite impressed with the thing on the range, and it shot pretty nice for having a shorter barrel. I think two major factors go into that. One of them is you've got a compact size grip, which, thanks to the floor plates on the magazine, means that I can get my entire hand on it. That helps a lot. And then the other bit is it's a two-stage dual spring recoil assembly that has some heft to it. So not only do you have a little bit of extra nose weight up there, but you also have the advantages of that two-stage spring system. I'm not a physics guy, I'm not a mechanical engineer, but I have noticed out of the hundreds of guns reviewed that whenever the gun has one of those multi-stage or multiple spring systems in it, it tends to shoot a little bit nicer. Also be a little bit easier to rack. I think it's because you can get some momentum going. You can start racking the slide before all of that spring resistance really stacks up on you. So they tend to be easier to run. We were really impressed with the APX A1. I'm probably going to take it out to the range again once I have an optics plate in for it. It's not necessarily the smallest thing out there, and maybe that's why it hasn't been so hot on the market and why Beretta's had to put a rebate on it. It kind of came out during the height of the micro compact deals, and it's broad. It's a kind of a fat gun, very Glockish in that respect. And then once again, that barrel length to capacity ratio of having sort of a subcompact for a barrel, but a compact size magazine setup seems a little off, but it doesn't for the appendix crowd, because the appendix crowd's typically more worried about this than they are this. So why not have something proper that you can really get your hands on? I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about it. I know many of you have owned and shot one longer than we have here at GB Guns, because you guys were the ones saying, hey, why haven't you done this gun yet? But we were really impressed. I remember saying in the video at the conclusion of shooting this thing that I really wanted to get my hands on the full size next to try. I wish there was something in between, that there was a true 4-inch 15 round, or maybe a 4.25-inch 15 round. That's my ideal size group. That's just where I kind of like them. But this thing was really good, and it made me want to shoot the full size. Only complaint I have on it is kind of a nitpicky one, but that's just simply that the manual was pretty weak. It had instructions for takedown were iffy, and the takedown was a little bit different. I could not find clear instructions on how to get the chassis out. It is a modular system. You're supposed to be able to remove the little chassis in there to change for different grip modules. But then I also realized that there is not currently aftermarket for the thing, so it's not like there's a whole bunch of other grips to swap into. Part of the rise of that in popularity was the U.S. Army contract, really looking for a way to replace cheap broken plastic bits, the grip, without having to replace an entire firearm. So a lot of guns that were created for those trials have those features, and aside from SIG, who has very proactively pursued support in the aftermarket, other companies, other gun models that have that feature, like the Beretta APX A1, don't have other modules to choose from. It's kind of unfortunate because it's an opportunity to tinker. It's an opportunity to try different things, to have a mainstay grip module. And then if there were crazy outlandish idea type grip modules, to produce them too. I get it though, on the manufacturing side, creating the molds for the polymer is not an inexpensive thing. And so you need to be sure you're going to sell a lot of whatever that mold makes in order to make that creating that mold worthwhile in the first place. The other option, of course, is the CNC route, like our friends Icarus Precision do for the SIG models. Those machines are expensive, and since you're CNCing, they end up being expensive products. So 6 one, half dozen another. It's not an easy thing to get into. So I don't really fault companies for not having a whole lot of that going on unless they're of SIG's size. But Beretta is, aren't they? Anyways, Beretta APX A1, one that I really quickly came to like as soon as we got on the range, and something we hope to do more with. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.